All right. Good morning, folks. How are we? I'm going to light some incense here. Welcome back to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. I am Tobias Josephson, and this is where we approach the paranormal differently. Hope everybody had a good night. Hopefully, you didn't celebrate St. Patrick's Day too much. All right. Say good morning to our friend. We're going to see. He's in the mood to continue talking. So, welcome back to Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. Containment over chaos, evidence over egos, and this is where we on this channel approach the paranormal differently. So, once again, welcome back to Paranormal Laboratory. This is theory number 9, titled Most Paranormal Evidence Would Fail Laboratory Experiments. So, good morning, everyone. We have some errands to run after this, so I don't have much time to waste today. I have an appointment for blood work, etc. So, good morning, everyone. Today's paranormal laboratory theory is probably going to make a bunch of people uncomfortable or upset or both. But if we're actually all serious this morning and we're serious about paranormal investigation and we're serious about investigating the paranormal, then it's a question we have to ask. Would paranormal evidence survive a real laboratory test? TZ? No, nothing. He's not awake yet. Because most investigations claim something very important.
No.
There he is. Good morning.
No.
Good morning, TZ. It's not you. Okay, we have somebody new here with us. Because most investigations claim something very important. They claim to be scientific. But claiming something is scientific and surviving scientific testing are two very different things. Let's start with a simple question for everyone watching. Do you believe truth tarot readings? Do you believe Christopher Stunt? Do you believe Dark Light Pyre? And anyone else in here? That most paranormal investigations today are scientific investigations? Or do you think they're entertainment investigations? Ooh. Take your pick as we go along. Type A in the comments for scientific. Type B if you think it's entertainment. I'm going to type B.
No.
It's not entertainment, TZ says. Why is it not entertainment? Do you care to enlighten us why it wouldn't be entertainment? You can only say yes or no. So if you say yes, you would have something positive to tell us. If you say no, it means you're referring to something negative about entertainment investigation. Yes or no?
No.
Okay. We'll keep that in mind. In a real laboratory, evidence must survive several conditions. The experiment must be repeatable. The environment must be controlled. I'm not moving, I'm breathing and talking. You guys can see my hands. And the results must occur independent of me. While I'm facing the camera, it is doing what it does. And by the way, all right, epoch boxes pick up electromagnetic radio frequencies, and it is said that those fragments of audio can be attributed to evidence and communication. Now, think about most paranormal investigations. Lights are off. People are talking right now in low monotone voices. We're staying controlled. Thank you for those thumbs up. People are moving. My head's moving. I'm talking. I'm looking at the camera. You guys are looking at the device. You guys are watching intently, right? Devices are being carried by other people in the background around us. Johnny's walking by us. No, it's not Johnny. Okay, it's Susie. Whoever it is, all right? Put yourself in this picture. Devices are getting carried around behind us. Questions constantly being asked. Who are you, TZ? Why won't you answer us again, TZ? Come on, TZ. What's going on? What's taking you so long? We have places to go. Come on. All right. That's not laboratory or investigation testing. That is environmental chaos. Think about the last ghost investigation video you attended on a live like this and watched, or think about a ghost investigation you attended. Did the investigators control the environment, or were they simply walking around? Something happened. No. TZ says no. I can just picture a bunch of people in my mind with devices holding them out. Just, where are you? We know you're here. Come on. Just waving their devices around, thinking they're going to catch something out of nothing. Type controlled if you think controlled's the way to go. Or chaotic in the chat if you think that's the way to go. So here's something I call the investigator paradox. Thank you, TZ. Many investigators believe they are collecting evidence, but they may actually be creating the conditions that generate false insights, false. Great answers. Truth Tarot says B. Entertainment investigation. No. Chris agrees. Yes, I believe. There we go. All right. No. What? Are you saying no to the investigation paradox? You don't know. Okay. Many investigators believe they're collecting evidence, but they may actually be creating the conditions that generate false signals, false evidence, chaos. Spirits don't lie, friends. Human movement. That's why I'm trying not to move. Electrical interference, again, while I'm trying not to move. Radio noise, temperature fluctuation. If I get upset, what happens? My temperature rises. How do we know this guy right next to us can't pick that up? We don't. And expectation bias. I don't expect anything. I come into these lives and I expect that nothing will happen. Right? And that's how I enter every live stream, no matter what device I'm using. It's just a device. We're here just to observe what it does in this natural setting. Thank you. All of these can produce results that appear paranormal. But would these results survive a controlled laboratory environment? That's the real question we're trying to answer here. Here's the psychology of paranormal evidence, in a theory, if you will. Humans are extremely good at finding meaning in random events. If the paranormal does exist, should it constantly be berated with questions like we asked at the top of the screen? I don't think so. Humans are extremely good at finding meaning in random events. When we expect something to happen, our minds connect events that might not actually be related. Here we go again with our brain filling in those gaps. It's not a shadow figure, it's just a car passing by casting a shadow in a doorway. You get the idea here? Your brain just starts immediately freaking out on you. A sound, a device spike, a random word. Remember the other day we were talking about how 2 or 3 different investigators could be around a device and all hear something different. And that is possible. It does happen. But the question is it because one was expecting that and the other 2 heard something totally random? Intriguing, isn't it? Very much so. A sound, a device spike, or a random word from a scanning radio device suddenly feels like intent in communication and purpose. But in a laboratory,
Yes. Yes.
but in a laboratory, as he is helping reaffirm here, that expectation is removed. That's why every night we do experiments. We're actually doing them twice. We're doing one now. We're just not calling it an experiment because it garners attention. But this is kind of what you get to look forward to. And then we got some other devices here, right there. Sorry, I'm getting used to camera. So right there is a couple other devices we may be using later. Maybe, we'll see, at 8 o'clock, in addition to the experiment. So in the laboratory, expectation is removed. All right. I'm sitting in a chair by myself that's padded. So I move and make as little environmental impact as possible with myself and this chair if I move. It is a rocker, see? Thank you. Tonight at 8 p.m. Now you wake up. We've been waiting for you for about 13 minutes. Good morning. How are you, TZ? Are you good? Yes, yes, yes. Or are you bad? No, no, no. He doesn't know, no, no.
No.
He does know. Okay. He just doesn't want to tell us. Fair enough.
Yes.
Fair enough. You see how it just seems to lean into the conversation, almost like it's sitting on this table you can't see, just watching me, watching you, watching me, watching you, watching me, watching you. If you believe there's something in this room watching us, it kind of almost looks like there's something here with us. I keep bringing it back in hopes that during one of these lives, we're going to figure out who or what we are communicating with. It is extremely intriguing to me to know what's going on here. Now, I could be affecting it a little bit, but beyond that, most of it has been very interesting. Last night, that larger REM pod was just singing all kinds of shit. So it was fun. Thank you for sharing your stories yesterday. Truth tarot readings. Those are the things we're looking for is stories, engagement,
Yes.
even haters in here that want to debate. It's okay to debate. Just don't be like vegetable root yesterday and come in being rude. So tonight at 8 p.m., we will run controlled paranormal laboratory experiments, 3 of them again to be exact. 1 using containment over chaos. The second one using what everyone else is using. And number 3, we will try absolutely nothing. kind of like a placebo experiment with paranormal investigation
No.
and paranormal investigation devices themselves. We will operate the spirit box, but
No.
we will remove one of the biggest variables in paranormal investigations:
Yes. Yes. Yes.
the investigators themselves. It sounds like what TZ and the others on the other side of the veil are really trying to get us to understand is that we don't need to be so loud. We don't need to be so proud. We don't need to be so egotistical. We don't need to turn on every single device we have. Uh, remember what I tell you guys. Where the hell is my phone? Oh, there it is. It was in. I forgot I put it inside this. So it was in there. But you know, myself and this is pretty much all I really need if I really want to get into investigating, get into the deep dive side of it, not the flashy, sensationalist performing for the camera. We will operate this spirit box, known as an epoch box, but we will remove one of the biggest variables in paranormal investigations, myself, as much as possible, without disappearing and not being in this room. Now, we could, I've thought about that, standing outside this room while we're observing tonight. And that way I would not be in the environment. So maybe I'll do that tonight. I will take myself and go that way while we're doing a pause. And while there's nothing happening during observe,
Yes.
and I'm not even in the room, let's see if it's going to continue during that third and do nothing experiment where I will sit on the other side of the threshold on purpose, looking inside the room for 20 to 30 seconds. We can try that if you guys want. If you do, type yes in the comments. If you don't want me to do that, type no in the comments. But tonight at 8 p.m., we will run controlled paranormal laboratory experiments once again. It'll be paranormal laboratory experiment number 9. If you've missed the previous ones, please do go back and follow all of our podcasts. If you do find these interesting, think about giving us a thumbs up with the other two. Think about sharing this podcast with other people, your friends on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. Or if you really like what you're seeing and you're liking following us around, think about subscribing with the other 94 souls that have. We've only been active as a channel for about 35 days. So we're growing nicely. Thank you so much for all the love. Tonight we'll run those controlled laboratory paranormal experiments. We'll operate our buddy here once again, Spirit Box, Epoch Box, and we will try to remove as much of myself as possible. There'll be no constant questions like everyone else does. We know you're here. Where are you? Show yourself. We're running down the hallway with our GoPros. It's the paranormal whoever. We're here to force you to talk to us. You get the idea. Escalation, chaos, instability investigation is what that is. There is no control. There is no scientific anything. If you can't remain like Phil Caldwell, myself, Matt, if you can't remain monotone, you're performing in storytelling. You're feeding the environment, possibly. There'll be no constant questions, no provoking like that, no chasing them down the hallways. Notice why I don't use thumbnails, because I don't like the idea of thumbnails. It dupes people into believing that they're going to see shit balls to the walls every time. I don't like that. So I don't use that very often. I feel like it misleads people on purpose. No direct responses, just observation is what we're going to be attempting again tonight. If responses still occur like they have been freely, in plain sight for you guys to see if you're tuning in, if responses still occur, something very interesting may be happening. And I'll say it again before we close. Once you realize the pattern that everyone else or everywhere else is trying to utilize, it very well may change the way you look at paranormal investigation for the rest of your life. I'm sorry. All right. And we're not here to attack anyone else. Okay. We're not here to challenge anyone else's beliefs, paradigms, all right, or paranormal practices. We're just here asking some really hard questions because we believe here at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC, where we approach the paranormal differently than everybody else. Literally. All right. Makes us unique, makes us something called authentic. And did you know the mere authentic energy that people can produce once they are truly authentic can sometimes trump the power of love and healing it can have? That's how unique being authentic is. And if you look at my social media presence, you'll see it because I am being literally shut down for being who we are. All right. Don't know who they are, where they're coming from, but it's a real thing. Okay. People don't like it when you upset the narrative. But I've long wondered why the narrative was the way it was. Why do we have to perform? Why does it have to be sensationalistic? Why do we have to use thumbnails that drive people to us to storytell? Just asking some questions. That's all they are. And if you look at my profile online over there, that's not the case. People don't like it when you upset their bread box, I guess. But if responses still occur like they are tonight, then something very unique, very important, very almost earth-shattering to the entire field is happening right here, right now, before the experiments even begin. This should be selling the channel because it's doing exactly as we're expecting as a variable to prove that point exactly. If responses still occur like it is now, something very interesting and very foundationally important is happening in paranormal investigation. But if the activity stops entirely, we may learn something important about how paranormal evidence, wait for it, is created. Right? Just asking a few questions here, friends. Right? Nothing I can do about the social media thing, but that was an example to show people is that sometimes when you're authentic, it happens. If you look back in history, there's plenty of people that have had that same issue. It happens. But when you're building something the rest of the world doesn't understand yet or doesn't want to, is probably the case on social media. Just doesn't want to hear it. Upsets what they're doing. That's what they're going to do. It is what it is, right? But it also helps lend all the evidence we will ever need as a business here at Paranormal Witchcraft LLC as far as who is affecting what. And if it's done inadvertently or if it's done on purpose. Notice the pattern. It's a pattern that people do in the paranormal field is they will shut their competitors down in cowardice. Why? Don't know. Happens all the time though. What happens when paranormal evidence is placed under real laboratory conditions? What do you think would happen? You think most of these people on television would hold up to these experiments? Hundreds of people asking them, what just happened? Was that you? All right. Because the difference between belief in paranormal investigations and knowledge in paranormal investigations is experimentation, is testing. Investigations only get better if the investigation practices get better. We only move forward if we push our boundaries, whether we want to or not. That's why I'm using myself as a guinea pig, literally, in real paranormal laboratory experiments to show the rest of the world what if. And on that, you'll have to come back at 8 o'clock to see the paranormal laboratory experiment number 9. Have yourselves a beautiful afternoon. I've got blood work to do, an appointment, and a couple meetings to take care of. So blessings and blessed be. Merry meet if you're new here. Everybody is welcome here on this channel. You can be a religious and you can be a practicer. It does not matter. You just have to come in here with utmost respect for the people next to you. That is all we ask you to do. Have yourselves a beautiful Tuesday. We will see you right back here at 8 p.m. with a couple other devices to join in the fun, the conversation, and see if it can't trip me up some more. So that being said, have yourselves a beautiful afternoon. I am Tobias Josephson. Lady Fonda is resting. All right. And we are Paranormal Witchcraft LLC. And this is where we approach the paranormal completely differently. Containment over chaos. Evidence over egos. Have a great day. We'll see you later.